Since 1994, when it arrived, more than 1.2 million copies of the Hyundai Accent have been sold here in the United States, with the company gradually refining and improving its entry-level subcompacts through 4 generations. While its exterior dimensions and price point pit it against the Toyota Yaris ER, the 5th generation 2018 Accent's 104 cubic feet of total interior volume are large for its class. The Mexico-built Accent also boasts added torsional rigidity 32% more, Hyundai claims, offers the sort of connected technology that today's customers demand, and, most pleasingly to us, is the beneficiary of some solid engineering judo on the chassis tuning. High's actual steering feel, fine ride and handling balance, connects to pretty much all your devices. Low's woeful passing power, numb clutch, no hatchback variant. Keeping up with appearances from the side, with its fast roofline, bobtail, and ample greenhouse, the new Accent resembles nothing so much as a more state Tesla Model 3. Whereas the previous generation Accent offered a hatchback variant, the new car is being sold here only in sedan form. The wheelbase is 0.4 inch longer and the entire car stretches just 0.6 inch further than its betrunked predecessor, although the roomier interior and more well-resolved rear fender line both impart the impression it has grown more than that, perhaps because it's also a bit wider. Hyundai did a reasonable job on the interior. The design is simple and plain, neither upscale nor particularly down-market, merely existing and functional. There's nothing here to make the teeth grind, despite the liberal use of hard plastic. The graining, however, is decent, and we've seen cheaper-looking stuff used in significantly more expensive vehicles. We're looking at you, Ford F-250 Super Duty. And you, too, Chrysler 300. Leather appears nowhere on the options sheet, and at this price point, we think that's a smart move. Opt for the SLO limited trim, and you get a second USB port for the rear passengers, while the touchscreen infotainment display swells from 5.0 to 7.0 inches. Standard across all trim levels is a 6040 split-folding rear seat, as are 6 airbags. The Accent's designers and engineers obviously work to keep wind noise to a minimum, and this truly presents itself around the pillar, all the better to enjoy your tunes courtesy of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, both of which are included when you opt for the 7.0-inch head unit. Hyundai's BlueLink system now integrates with Amazon Alexa and Google Home, too, which means you can remotely start your vehicle by speaking to a device in your kitchen. Less Jetsonian but perhaps more useful is the available forward collision avoidance system, which first warns the driver of an impending impact and then applies the brakes itself if the driver doesn't react quickly enough. Chassis is well done, but where's the boof? As much as we're prone to lament the demise of the unturbocharged engine, the smooth-running 1.6-litre inline for which also does duty in the smaller Kia Rio hatchback is almost perilously naturally aspirated, as in there's no waft of turbo torque to save your hide when an 18-wheeler is bearing down on you. Thankfully, the 6-speed automatic transmission is responsive and nicely programmed. Around town, the engine's 130 horsepower and 119 lb-ft of torque feel, well, adequate. We like the power plant's character quite a bit. It never becomes thrashy as it winds up, but we'd welcome a shoebox full of additional torque at lower revs. You need 4,850 revolutions per minute on the tach to extract this engine's full grunt. For the shifter to selfers, the low-end trim comes standard with a 6-speed manual transmission. The stick's action is positive and pleasant, although the clutch offers little to no feedback about where you might find the engagement point. The SL Unlimited models are automatic only, and frankly, despite our love of the 3-pedal automobile, the Autobox works better in this application. It also returns better fuel economy. We've finally entered an era where the Korean automakers have figured out how to tune a chassis. See our relatively warm regard for the latest Hyundai Elantra Sport, and the Accent team has wrung the finer attributes out of their front strut and torsion beam rear suspension setups. No, this car isn't particularly sporty, but it acquits itself well in terms of balanced ride and handling, with a pleasant firmness especially with the limited 17-inch wheels, a planted feel, and a steering wheel that offers information about the road surface. In our transit of southern Nevada highways and byways, we found the brakes to be sufficient yet leaving little impression, either positive or negative. Overall, we'd not call the Accent a driver's car, but we wouldn't call it a car built to disappoint drivers, either. It is difficult to be worked into a tizzy over the Accent, just as it's also pretty tough to feel insulted by Hyundai's latest entry-level car. It's an honest machine offering a solid value, inoffensive contemporary styling, decent dynamics, and a well-made, respectfully designed interior. But please, Hyundai, couldn't we have just a bit more talk?